What up? Welcome to another episode of the Sports PSP podcast, the highlight of Friday nights. Coming off work, school, whatever case may be. I am your host, Sports PSP. Hope everyone is enjoying a fantastic summer. Make sure you just surround yourself with loved ones, friends, and family, enjoying some good barbecues, some good cookouts, going to summer camp, going to summer school, doing some good things, just enjoying the remaining days of the summer and be able to make sure to check out the rest of the World Cup. So that's pretty big though as well. And also take some time to watch some WNBA basketball as well. But of course, I can't do the Sports PSP podcast without my amazing panel. To my gentleman on the left, he is Mr. Atlanta. He is the girl dad. He is Falcons, Braves, Hawks, one half of the Georgia Bulldogs alum, BRF Sports. Bringing in real flair. How you doing, man?
I am doing pretty good. Life is good, I must say. Another good week of work. Ready to get into this weekend. I'm off this weekend. Yeah, I'm kind of eyeing this weather too, seeing what it's going to look like. I hope it don't really hit down here that hard, but you just never know, especially with the way way this rain and storms been hitting Georgia as of late. It just felt like it's just been a vicious, ongoing cycle. So, but hey, outside of that though, family's good, life is good, we healthy. No complaints. Any day on the right side of the ground is another good day and it's another blessing. Always a pleasure to share the spotlight with you two fine gentlemen, and I'm ready to dig into the show tonight because hey, it's the highlight of Friday night. So we got the itinerary on lock as far as a good schedule of segments of the show. So I'm always looking forward to sharing the spotlight with you two fine gentlemen.
Always a pleasure doing the podcast on Friday nights, highlight of Friday nights. And of course, we can't do the Sports PSP podcast without my main gentleman down below. He is the five-time college degree champion. He is the Al Roker of journalism. He is the young Charles Barkley. He is the young Mark Henry. He is the young Barry White. He is the young Ruben Studdard. Magic City, make sure if he steps by, give him a big old plate of some chicken wings and some beautiful women there if he steps at Magic City. Megan Thee Stallion, give this man a holler. Stop wasting your time hooking up with somebody else. Yourself up with the big fella, the big chocolate. He is D's hysterical and hilarious friend. He is Mama Champ's number one favorite son. He is Ace's best sibling. There's a reason why his father called him Champ for a reason. He is the big fella, undisputed world champ. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Shout out to the Atlanta Dream going toe to toe with the Toronto Tempo tonight, man. They are
Kind of lag.
Yeah, he's lagging.
just gonna be real. Hey, they weren't even at full strength. Now that Bree Jones is back, Nas Hillman, who is the sixth woman of the year, will be going back to where she belongs, and that's as the sixth woman. Now that center and that power forward position will be at its optimal, and the league is in trouble. Aces, watch out. Link, watch out. Everybody, watch out. And right now, they're the number one team in the East right about now, thanks to the Indiana Fever going out there and just getting stomped yesterday by Gabby Williams and the Valkyries, who is currently on an 8 game winning streak at this point. Best defense in the league. So, and they have this. You talk about Gabby Williams and the Valkyrie, they really have this. And I'm going to say this for a video. They really have this 2004 Bad Boy Pistons look about themselves. We all know Gabby Williams and Veronica Burton are superstars, but they're not the Asia Wilsons. They're not necessarily the big faces of the league. They kind of remind you of Rashid and Ben a little bit. So it gives that feeling to it. But, big shout out to my Atlanta Dream, man, going head to head with Toronto.
Yeah, Champ mentioned us. He was kind of lagging a little bit, so we'll take care of him.
We're gonna watch out for him.
Always, always, always. But of course, BRF. Speaking of the WNBA, as the big fella mentioned. Oh, there we go. We got the big fella rolling. Champ mentioned prior to the show he was having some technical difficulties. So just in case, we'll make sure we'll take care of the big fella like the big fella took care of me last time. So I understand, big fella. You all good, man. And by the way, the beautiful D, as always, says hello.
Thank you for everything, D. Thank you and Mama PSP, and I call y'all the New Jersey connection, the New Jersey New York connection for everything. Appreciate that. Um, can't do it without the connections in New Jersey and New York. Can't do it without the connection in Madison. Can't do it without the connections in Columbus. So big
And
shout
let's
out.
not forget Wisconsin because of the Great Flash.
Yes, let's not forget Wisconsin with the great Flash. And shout out to Willow, Flash's daughter. They won the championship this year in hockey. So, hey, man, hell of a job, man. Those were some really big rings. So keep doing your thing out there, Flash, man. Shout out to all the fathers out there. I know Father's Day is long past, but you can never give fathers too much credit. You can never give fathers. They do all the dirty work. They the Dennis Rodmans of the household. Let's just keep it all the way above. They the bad guy when they don't want to be, and they the good guy when they don't have to be.
You could have used Charles Oakley though.
Yeah, but
You
know.
use Rodman, shit. I mean that I love Rodman to death though.
Yeah, I love Robin. Like I said, Dad always, when you talk
The
about
only
fathers,
reason
they
why
know
I'm
how to do
saving,
work.
I'm the only reason why I'm saving you because I'm quite sure your mom watches the pod from time to time, and Lord knows she cannot stand Dennis Rodman. So I'm saving you from yourself. You told me your mama can't stand Dennis Rodman. If there's three people she
Yeah,
can't stand: Dennis Rodman, Nick Van Exel, and Vince McMahon.
and Vince McMahon. What's so funny about that? Like I said, Nick Van Exel played for the Lakers, and she hated every minute of it. She hated Nick Van Exel. Matter of fact, when I bought
Them
the Nick Van
shoes.
Exel sneakers. I remember she told me, "Don't you wear that shit in my house?" Because these Reeboks right here are the Nick Van Exel sneakers that he came out with, during his time in Los Angeles. So these are Nick Van Exel sneakers. So when she
Those are
said,
some
she was
cool
like, "I
ass
don't like you,
shoes,
man.
though.
Don't wear that shit in my."
Yeah, those. Hey, I can't even knock them. Those some good shoes though. I didn't buy them. I didn't buy a pair of them, but hey, I can't knock them. Those are some nice look shoes.
My favorite shoes, though, as a kid, the retro sevens, them Jordans, and the Allen Iverson sneakers.
I got which okay. I did get one pair of Jordans. I'm trying to remember which edition was they. I'm trying to remember which edition they were. They were the gray. They were the gray with the yellow at the bottom. I can't remember, but it was some real nice ones. And then I got a pair of, and then I did get a pair of VCs too. So I can't complain. Shout out to Vince Carter. Shout out to Half Man Half Amazing.
Yes, absolutely. But speaking of which, let's get to basketball. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he wrote on his Substack about one Caitlin Clark. This is what he had to say regarding the GOP lawmakers instituting demanding the WNBA to institute rules to change the rules or call fouls on Caitlin Clark. He said his first reaction to this letter was to check the calendar and make sure it wasn't April Fool's Day. He wrote. He did acknowledge that Caitlin Clark is a good player. This is what he said on his Substack. Don't get me wrong, Clark is a very good player, possibly even a great player, he wrote, but calling any one player the face of the league, absent the sort of on court and cross platform dominance of a Michael Jordan or LeBron James, is an insult to an awful lot of great players. And he believes that players such as Asia Wilson should be considered the face of the WNBA. I have no problem with what Kareem had to say. I really like what Kareem speaks. I mean, hell, hey, journalism, current or former journalists, look at Kareem as an example. I mean, he gives his opinion, he says what's on his mind, and he is fair, though. And I agree with Kareem from the standpoint. I believe it should be someone like an Asia Wilson as far as the face of the WNBA. Off the court, obviously, Caitlin Clark brings a lot of revenue and ratings, but on the court, it it's nothing compared. Asia Wilson, the amount of MVPs that she's won, she's about to win another MVP. and she may win DPOY. And if she's not going to win DPOY, it's probably because voters fatigue. I think for me, and I'm sorry, I got to say this. Caitlin Clark, I think, is a good player. But if you ask me, is she overrated? The answer is yes. Because coming out of college, she was considered to be taking over the league by storm. And outside of her rookie season, that's the closest thing we've seen Caitlin Clark, as far as living up to her hype. Because not only she was winning Rookie of the Year, hell, she was in the discussions for the MVP. And since her last 2 years, hasn't come close to that. Big fella, undisputed world champ, has constantly talked about how Kelsey Mitchell has stepped in for Caitlin Clark, and how the Indiana Fever last year, they were able to make the playoffs and win a playoff series without Caitlin Clark's contributions. And Caitlin Clark, for the most part this season, has been healthy, even though she has been injured. But she has been healthy. But still, her play, it hasn't been what a lot of casuals or a lot of people who didn't watch the WNBA thought. Myself, Champ, BRF, we know our basketball. We thought Caitlin Clark was going to be good. I think the hype coming out of college was disrespectful to the rest of the WNBA players because A, you really underestimated the WNBA players, their talent, the physicality. And Dave Portnoy, Champ, did you see what Dave Portnoy said in response to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which it was crap, to say the least, and to say that Caitlin Clark should start her own league? Well, if that's the case, okay, Caitlin, you can go to Europe and just imagine how you would be in the Europe League. Because if you're having problems in the WNBA, what the hell do you think he's going to be in the European League? Even worse. But the European League, Champ, you know how the Europeans are, not only with the women's but also with the men's physicality, and they're going to look at Caitlin Clark like barbecue chicken, as the great Shaquille O'Neal always says, barbecue chicken. They're going to tear her ass up if she goes to some type of league like the European League. Look, Caitlin Clark, two things can be true. I think she has to be considered one of the faces for the WNBA because you cannot disregard what she brings off the court. Same thing with Angel Reese. As much criticism as Angel Reese receives, Champ, you could argue she's one of the faces of the WNBA because of the revenue that she brings, with the endorsement deals, the Reese's Pieces, the Me Bounds, the Victoria's Secret, everything else, her podcast. So Angel Reese has been able to cross over. But Caitlin Clark, two things could be true. Caitlin Clark definitely brings a lot of revenue and money and is considered one of the faces of the WNBA. But in my opinion, I think she is overrated. Extremely overrated. And sorry to steal your thunder, big fella. Well, actually, you kind of gave me permission. I damn you, because you bring up Jason Whitlock. You know damn well. Of all people, Jason Whitlock, he makes me so sick. I feel like I gotta take a shit and vomit simultaneously.
Chill, bro. You gonna get her kicked off the air? Chill.
I feel like I feel no.
You gonna get her kicked off the air, bro? Chill.
I gotta take a shit, pee, and vomit, and I'm not peeing nothing but urine. I'm peeing blood right now.
Jason Whitlock sends him to the bathroom undecided.
Good God, that is the thing.
My Lord. My Lord.
But you got cheat.
But what do you expect?
Bro, you
You
gonna get
know
her
how
kicked
I
off
feel.
the air. You gonna get her kicked off the fucking air.
Well. First of all, are they going to kick Myron Gaines off the air?
Bro,
They sure as hell they're not going to do that, given the
Ooh, boy.
bullshit that he says, and that's a
Ooh.
story for another
Nah,
day.
nah. Let Myron Gaines embarrass himself. He's doing he's
bro,
doing a
chill.
he's doing an
I can't
immaculate
even
job
talk
with
no
that one.
damn more. What the hell going on?
He's doing an immaculate job in embarrassing himself. You ain't got to worry about that one.
Yeah,
But I
bro.
told you, do you know how difficult it is for me when Champ had to do the video on TikTok about Jason Whitlock? And look, as Jason Whitlock, like I said, he's the type of person that makes you want to take a shit and also vomit. I mean, that's how disgusting and vile he is. But even Jason Whitlock of all people is saying that. And again, he is a huge Caitlin Clark fan. Remember what he said about the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. So for me, of all people, to side with Jason Whitlock, Lord, I mean, why do you think prior to the show I had to stop by and grab a couple of margaritas? Hell, I had even had to grab 3 margaritas last night. I just have to deal with a disgusting walrus and Jason Whitlock any chance. But I
Yow!
digress. I digress.
Woo!
I
Boy,
digress. I can't
he
Lord
help
have
got the
mercy.
myself. I
he
can't.
done brought the big
Lord have
guns
mercy.
out, boy. Woo!
Lord forgive me. I know my therapist is watching me
Woo!
right now, but anytime when I look at Jason
Woo!
Whitlock, I'm just saying to myself, man,
Woo,
fuck that
boy.
dude.
Now,
But anyway,
real quick though, I will say this though. Jason Whitlock, every time I see him, he does make my ass itch. I will say that.
to the point you need baby powder.
Boy, and like I mean, like Dave Chappelle, what the five fingers say to the face, like slap. Like I'm just saying, like, bro.
But
On that note,
on that note, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, I do believe Caitlin Clark is a good player. But you got to ask yourself, is it time for Indiana to consider giving the keys to Kelsey Mitchell? Because if you're just looking at play, Kelsey Mitchell is the more complete player. We all know that Kelsey Mitchell provides defense, and Caitlin Clark, when it comes to defense, not so much. And a lot of comparisons with Caitlin Clark coming out of college was Steph Curry because of what she was able to do as far as her ball handling and shooting. At best case scenario for Caitlin Clark, she's Trey Young.
I was gonna say that. I was about to say
Or,
that.
as the big fella mentioned, Christian Leitner in terms of the hype, not the player, in terms of the hype, because Christian Leitner coming out of the University of Duke, considering how great of a college career that he had, how was he going to be on the NBA level?
Yeah. To his credit, he did make an All-Star team
He
when he
did.
was in Atlanta.
He did. But
To
it
his
wasn't
credit,
Mhm.
compared
he did
to
do a
the
damn good
career.
job.
But it wasn't compared to the career he had in Duke.
No.
My thing is with them GOP lawmakers, bullshit. As I said before, you keep saying keep politics out of sports. How about do the job? Because again, all these gas prices, all these food prices, this economy is in the toilet, and you're more concerned about complaining and demanding the WNBA to change rules just to accommodate your player who you considered the face of the league. And to Caitlin Clark's credit, she hasn't really done or said anything as far as being the face of the WNBA. All she's just doing is playing ball. Now, there are times with Caitlin Clark, I do get frustrated because the other night she got into it with the referee about the fault about the fouls, and she was doing a press conference. But Caitlin Clark does a lot of flopping. And that's something that them GOP lawmakers or Caitlin Clark fans or casuals do not take into consideration. I agree with Kareem. It should be Asia Wilson. If you want to say who's the face of the WNBA, it should be Asia Wilson. But Asia Wilson does not have the off court platform like Caitlin Clark does. And I think that we have to stop putting people on such an enormous pedestal before they do something. And I think that Fox News, Caitlin Clark's fans, and the people are mostly responsible for Caitlin Clark and her production, not necessarily Caitlin Clark, because Caitlin Clark, she's just doing what she can on her part and hasn't really said anything. It's just a detriment and disrespect to the rest of the WNBA players. Look at all the good players in the WNBA that you're seeing. And look what you're about to see moving forward. Juju Watkins. Who's the player, big fella? Um,
Audie
you
Crooks.
used to play at Iowa State,
Iowa
now
State.
is at Oklahoma.
Audie Crooks.
Audie Crooks. There's a lot of exceptional
Jazzy
talent,
Davidson, she'll be in the league in a couple of years as well.
Hannah Hidalgo's coming.
Yeah.
and there's a lot of more exceptional talent heading into the WNBA. All I'm saying is, look, Caitlin Clark is. All I'm saying is, Caitlin Clark. Yes, I get her platform. Yes, I get what she brings. But if you continuously just look at Caitlin Clark alone, you're missing out on something, and that is these other great WNBA players as well. It's not just one player. I got more to say, but whoever wants to go.
I'll go.
Lord, you get me to side with Jason Whitlock. Like I said, the type of person that would get me to take a shit and vomit simultaneously.
Lord have mercy. I'll say this. I will give Caitlin Clark credit. She's one of the best things that has ever happened to the W because she brought a lot of eyes along with her. But the thing is, what they don't tell you is when those eyes, what they don't tell you is when you go into a public setting, when you bring eyes with you, sometimes eyes have a tendency to wander. And if you're a guy, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. So I'm gonna just be real. WNBA, and she brought a lot of eyes to the product. But there's only so far that that's going to be able to take you at a certain point. Now her records are being broken by now her records are being broken by Olivia Miles. All of her records are being broken by Olivia Miles. And what was so funny about that is I had a guy, not gonna say no names on the platform. I had a guy who's a very kind of you know, a WNBA fan. He got in my comments and said, I don't appreciate them making up stats in order to validate someone when it comes to Olivia Miles. So that just tells you everything they need to know. Now that your records are being broken, and by the way, they also said that, oh yeah, we're overrating Olivia Miles because of the team that she has around her. Not realizing that they just lost Atlanta Smith, they just lost Jessica Shepard, and
She
Fee
ain't had
hasn't
the feast of
played
Koya all year.
and hasn't had Nafisa Coria all year. But that's exactly what I was about to say. But I digress. Now your records are being broken. You were injured last year.
I think we lost him.
Mm. Yeah, I give it a little bit, but let's see. Hopefully, he come back. Because yeah, if not, I'll try to piggyback off of what he's saying. But I mean,
But he ain't
champ,
lying though.
he ain't. No, he's not. Because I think that's one thing that a lot of the
32
critics.
point game.
Okay, he's
Granted,
back.
you had a 22
There
point,
you go.
32-point game, but you still took 32 shots in order for you to get those damn 32 points. So there's a lot to be desired at this point. You really have to get it together at this point in time. Would a championship completely validate her right about now? Yes. I believe that will be one of the main things that validate her because I don't think an MVP is in her future at this point. It's Paige, it's Olivia, and it's Asia Wilson at this point. And to Kareem's point, when he talks about crossover platform, when has the face of the league not been the best player in the league? The only
It's,
thing, and he knows a little something about being the face in the league, being the face of the league, that being Kareem, because he was the face of the league in the 70s, winning all the MVPs, winning all the accolades, winning all the awards. The biggest difference between him and Caitlin Clark was nobody could talk to Kareem because number one, because of his religion, and number two, because he was very, very stoic. He was not very, very media friendly. Had he been a little bit more media friendly, he would have
We'll give him a second.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, BRF. Do you want to continue on to what Champ alluded to?
I mean, yeah, like I know he right now he's talking. He was talking about. He was making a point about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but basically, yeah, the point about Kareem, I think he's really trying to make, and like a guy, a guy with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar status can really like he can speak for this and everything that's going on because yeah, like he was saying, like if Kareem wasn't as standoffish from the media or like as stoic as he wasn't necessarily the most media friendly type as far as like interviews and just giving you these thought pieces to really think about. If he was more like approachable and things like that, he not only would he have been the face of the league in the 70s. I mean, good gracious, he might have been he might have still been the face of the league in the 80s
Mm-hmm.
if he was more approachable. Even with guys like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson coming to the league, you still have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was Magic Johnson's teammate in LA. So I mean, you kind of have to think as far as like what Kareem could have been had he been more media friendly, media savvy, as far as like just actually just wanting to talk to reporters. So
Yes.
if anybody, I feel like if anybody has an absolute right to kind of speak on stuff like this, is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In my opinion, he's like top three greatest players ever. So
Plus, he did
and
airplane.
in my opinion, he has the greatest basketball career ever. I mean, I'm talking about the greatest. When you talk about his
High
talking
school,
about high school,
college.
college, and
Yeah.
then the pros, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has unquestionably the greatest basketball career ever.
Not
Yeah.
to
I say,
mention they took
I
away the dunk. They took away the
yeah,
dunk rule. So what did he had to invent in order for
the,
him to
the sky
the sky
hook.
hook, which is the most
Exactly.
unstoppable move
The
in the
sky
history of
hook.
this
It is the
game?
most. I mean, the sky hook is up there with Shaq backing down in the paint, Jordan's fadeaway, Steph's three. As far as like most unguardable shots
Yeah.
the league has ever seen. So if anybody can speak on something like this, it's Kareem. And I mean,
He had the cross dominance too, because remember he was dominant on the
exactly.
court, but he was also doing movies with Bruce Lee. He was
Did
also
he
doing airplane. He was
exactly?
also doing the whole. Kareem had his own video game.
Mm.
That's what he means by cross appeal. That
Not
means I'm
not to
dominant
mention
on the court and I'm
not to
dominant
mention
off the court.
didn't he have his first own signature shoe?
No, that was Walt.
That was
Oh, I'm sorry.
Walt.
That was Walt.
Yeah.
But Kareem did have a signature shoe as well. But that's what they mean by cross dominance. Your dominance is as big on the court as it is off the court.
As a
And when
matter,
you
and
are the
oh, go ahead. I'm
best
sorry.
player in the league, it is that. When you
Not to
saw
mention how socially conscious Kareem is, though, because of the plight. Remember with him, Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell.
And I mean, no, you're not kidding. And I mean, shoot, as a matter of fact, I Game of Death, the movie he did with Bruce Lee, watched that the other night. That movie's a timeless watch. If you like action films and movies like that, if you grew up with Arnold, that is still a timeless watch. So yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what it's about. This is what I'll say though. I understand. I understand why he said Mike and LeBron as far as like the crossover appeal and the cross platform. I kind of hate it. Not hate it, but using Mike and LeBron, I guess in that sense, because I feel like their aura still exceeds like so many others as far as like how talented they were, how the accolades they accumulated throughout their career, them being able to win championships, MVPs, and all that other stuff, and but still being able to take the game in fact, in lanes and
yes,
facets that it hadn't been before, like just being able to really kind of give it that appeal, give it a new sort of appeal that it didn't have before, like Mike with the just basically taking the game all over the world, basically globalizing it. Like with Magic and Bird made it TV, Mike made it global. Kind of like the evolution of what the NBA was turning into, and then with Braun, it was the social media, and then it was also the player empowerment. Putting it back in the hands of the players, whether ultimately it was the best thing or not. I mean, either or is I feel like it's kind of a moot point talking about it because he did give the empowerment to the players. So it's just new. It's just another nuance that that just kind of added itself to the NBA. Um, I just I think with Caitlin Clark, we got caught up with that senior year at Iowa, and then it was like her being able to finally beat Angel Reese in the NCAA tournament. Granted, they didn't win the national championship, but I think we saw like the performance she had in that NCAA tournament. We saw the performance she had her senior year, and we just kind of saw the attributes and just the skill set that she brought to the table. She had handles. She obviously could shoot the three. She's obviously an elite. She was obviously an elite playmaker in college, being able to get her teammates involved. And it was the they call it passion, but you know what I'm saying. Just the fieriness and just the in your face attitude that she brought with it. Some people don't like that. Some people don't like her style. Some people love her style. It's just a preference. It's what I'm saying. It's what you like. I think a lot of people got caught up in that, and we were ready to just you know when the generational label is placed upon you, that comes with hefty, hefty, hefty expectations. She had the generational label placed on her, so she does. You don't get a lot of room when you have the generational label placed on you. You may get a half of basketball as far as a regular season is concerned, but that rookie year, it's like it was like after the Olympics, it's like that team just started to click, and you could just see Caitlin get better. It was Aaliyah getting better around, and it was Kelsey Mitchell getting better around her, and it was the role players Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham. It was it was all of the I believe Natasha Howard was there that year. It was just all the role players that was around her at the time, and everything just kind of clicked, and the cohesion just grew, and you could see it after the Olympics. And I think and then we were ready to just say, okay, Indiana's one of the favorites to win the WNBA title, and they're one of the favorites. Like, you saw that growth, you saw that leap, and you just thought they were going to take it. And it's almost felt like she's kind of, I don't want to say she's regressed, because she hasn't. She When you look at her stats and her numbers and what she's put up, she hasn't regressed. She's putting up amazing numbers, but it's like she's kind of already kind of plateaued. And I like the Trey Young comparison, because she gives me really real Trey Young vibes. Like, I don't think I don't think she's displayed the consistent floor like a Trey Young did, even when he was playing bad ball. Even if Trey was playing bad ball, if Trey ain't giving you at least 22 points and 10 assists a game, I mean, he was at least giving you a decent floor. Caitlin Clark sometimes can't even she don't even give you that sometimes. Like the last game, 14 points, 4 14 from the field, 1 of 8 from three. Her last three games, she's shooting 15% from the 3 point line, 16% from the 3 point line. The 3 point line is supposed to be your bread and butter. Your 3 point line was supposed to be the thing that allowed you to even take this game to the WNBA and the further heights. If you're not doing that, what do you have to really lean upon, when things aren't going well? If you don't have the 3 point shot, your mid-range game obviously is not the best. That's why you rely on the three. That's why you can take those 30, 35-foot logo shots, because you can sink them. If that's not going in, what do you rely on? All you honestly
You
really
can't
have
drive
is
to the basket either.
yeah, you're not a good attacker of the rim. So the only thing you really have to rely on is honestly is your ability to get your teammates involved. But then if you're not doing that, you're getting your butts whooped, like what the Golden State Valkyries did to you the other night. So that's why I knew a lot of people were gonna see that game, what they did to the Ace, and they were gonna be like, "Oh man, they're figuring it out." And I said it, I don't trust their defense. I don't trust their defense, and I don't trust their ability, even though they play amazing offense. They're one of the best offensive teams in the league. I don't trust them on a night to night consistent basis to be able to keep their heads in the game and to be able to keep it going night in and night out, in terms of their defense being able to consistently stay with the offense. Because I was starting to think, you know what, okay, they don't have the greatest defense in the world, but you know what? It's good enough to where maybe they could finally make some noise as far as like getting to a WNBA finals are concerned. But even still, it's like I still have my doubts about them. But to go back to
Yeah.
to go back to the subject at hand, I just think we got caught up. I don't want to say she won't become what she still has the potential to become, but I think a lot of us was kind of worrying about this too. Like she had the generational label placed on her. So what's going to happen the first time she really hits a rut and she's playing like really, really bad basketball? What's going to happen? And I think she's starting to experience the backlash of that a little bit because people are getting tired of her antics. At the very least, you know, have something. I mean, if you're gonna display some of these antics, like other night, getting in that ref's face, about the foul call. Why wasn't she getting attacked? Why didn't she get attacked for that? Any other player in that position probably would have got a technical foul. Why doesn't she get attacked? You don't need to be getting in the ref's face like that. I don't care what you are, face of the league, none of that. You should be getting a technical foul for that.
And then
Why?
cussed her out too. Cussed her
That's
out
what
in
I'm
that.
saying. Yeah, the cussing in her face, that should have been an automatic tag. And I'm like, why isn't she getting a technical foul here? I understand letting the players express their frustrations from time to time, but when you get cussing in the face like that, nah, that's tech. I don't care what you're trying to express. That's disrespectful. You gotta tee that up. You have to. Um, I just Now the question you posed, champ, as far as like whether she's a Christian Leitner or not, I don't think she's at that point yet. Because what I will say with Christian Leitner, he came in with a ton of hype, being one of the greatest college basketball players of all time. He he didn't consistently display highs like that at the NBA level. And I think with Caitlin, she's at least displayed, like she's had like her ceiling type games. Like she's displayed glimpses of that full on potential to where I don't want to say Christian Leitner because she has a high ceiling and she's hit that ceiling numerous times. Whereas I don't think Christian Leitner ever did. Now I will say this though. She's got to figure it out at some point as far as just the antics, the attitude, the consistent play. She's got to find it somewhere because this is year 3 in the league, and now you're starting to kind of run out of excuses. You're gonna have to do something some point within the next year or two, and ultimately it's winning a championship because this is also one of the things that a lot of people were kind of banking on with Caitlin going to Indiana and joining that core. A lot of people thought, this team can win a championship in 3 years. We in year 3. You ain't got it done yet. Now you got to really kind of figure it out and become the leader for this team. Otherwise, you're just going to stay in the same rut. Whereas teams like Minnesota, teams like Las Vegas, teams like New York, teams like Atlanta, and even teams like Golden State, who's in their second year of existence, is just passing you because they're just better teams than you. So you got to figure this out. Otherwise, not only are we going to be asking questions about like, are you really that good or not? We might be getting ready to say, what should the Indiana Fever do with Caitlin Clark? Well, I don't think we're there yet, but something got to give. Something's got to give.
But ask yourself this though. Ask yourself this though. If any other player in the NBA or the W, you're supposed to be the best player. You're supposed to be the best player on your team. If any other player had their team go as far as they did without them, what would we be asking? Hell, people are asking questions online about Nafisa Courier at this point because of how great they are with Olivia Miles and how she has an injury history. I mean, people are asking that question right now, and she's the number 2 player in the league. You don't believe me? Go on the internet, they'll tell you.
Oh,
It's like, hey, well, because she only signed because she only signed a 1-year deal. She only signed a 1-year deal. And people are asking themselves right about now, should they just let Olivia Miles in this core they already have take over the team, especially if they back and they're not as good, and they're not as effective. If anyone goes out there and has this year, they have and your team was in one overtime, maybe the WNBA finals. What Like I said, he was the number two player in the league, number two
I think he's
behind Asia
lagging.
Wilson. And they ask you, I ask you, so if
Man, I hate my boy lagging.
Yeah, but
I hate my boy lagging.
but
But he's making good points though.
no, he does make a very valid point though,
He's
because
making
with
valid points.
Minnesota with Nafisa Collier, and again, it's not because of Nafisa Collier's play. Because last year, before injury, she was running away with the league MVP until Asia
Yeah.
Wilson called her. I think now, I mean, to me, I still would still keep Nafisa Collier only because she can provide that type of experience and mentorship with Olivia Miles. I keep her for like another year, but eventually you're probably going to have to consider moving on from Nafisa Collier because she's getting older. Her history of durability is not on her side, and you're seeing what you're seeing with Olivia Miles. So to the big fella's point, I mean, he does make an argument, but it just seems like to me, when are her fans, when are people, casuals, are going to hold Caitlin Clark more accountable? Because it seems
Mm,
to me she's just getting past this. And the fact that Jason Whitlock, again, of all people, like I said, he's the type of person that makes me want to take a shit and also makes me want to vomit simultaneously. For me to agree with this dude, damn.
but I mean, it honestly it's bad. Like when you were as
it is
big,
bad.
it's bad to be as big as a supporter of Caitlin Clark as Jason Whitlock was. Even though his reasons for supporting her were definitely weren't in the right places. That's a conversation neither here or there that we're not going to go into here. But trust me, if you follow Jason Whitlock on Twitter, if you know, you know, and that's a whole conversation for another day. But yeah, when your supporters like him are kind of getting tired of your antics, that lets me know right there something. Like I said, something got to give. Something got to give. Um, but to go back to Nafisa Collier real quick, I understand why it's been brought up to want to look at possibly moving her or trading her because yes, she is getting older. Olivia Miles has definitely shown a capability of being the face of that franchise. But if I'm the Minnesota Lynx, in the back of my mind, I
This is
don't
a
know if
sweet
I
team.
want I want to see what it can do. I want to see what Olivia Miles and Nafisa Collier can do because I think as good as the Minnesota Lynx has been, I don't know. I don't think that team as constructed wins a title because I think Olivia Miles needs another just bona fide, like she needs a Nafisa Collier. They have really good players there, but she needs a Nafisa Collier, like when the play break down and when the defenses lock you up and the plays breaking down and they're on you and you can't get a bucket, you need someone else that can create their own shot and get a bucket. And I don't think nobody else in Minnesota can do that like Nafisa Collier. So I think in the back of their minds, they hope she gets
We got an
back this
ultra
year.
team on our hands.
Exactly. I think in the back of their minds, they're hoping she can play at some point this season. They want to see it. If I'm a Minnesota Lynx fan, if I'm on that Minnesota Lynx staff, I want to at some point see what Olivia Miles and Nafisa Collier can do as a 1-2, 1A, 1B. I want to see it. You need some sort of sample size of that at one point. Because if you put those two together and they can operate on a high level and they make your team even better, I think you have to chance, even though Nafisa Collier has been injury prone. If they show you any type of just of dominance as a duo, that's something you have to keep in the back of your mind and you want to keep together because a lot of these teams that are like WNBA championship contenders, it's two or sometimes three stars. Like you look at Atlanta with Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, Angel Reese, they're getting Bree Jones back tonight. So that's four bona fide all stars you got like right off the bat. And then you look at Vegas, you look at Aja Wilson, you look at Chelsea Gray, you look at Jewel Lloyd, you look at Jackie Young, you got four bona fide you got 4 bona fide badass women. I mean, let's keep it a buck. And then you look at another, you look at it like the New York Liberty. I mean, Breonna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, 3 badass women. I mean, these teams that can
Don't forget about
possibly
Satu.
oh, absolutely. Oh, and exactly, and Satu Sabali too. So that's 4 badass women. So these teams that are championship contenders have a strong 3 to 4 woman core that can go out and get it done on any given night. So with Minnesota, you got Olivia Miles, you have Olivia Miles, you have you have Jessica Shepard. So I mean, Alana Smith hasn't necessarily been the signing you were hoping for, but let's say you get her back, and then you get Nafisa Collier back. There's your 4 right there. So, like I said, I think even though I understand the thought process is why you would want to trade Nafisa, I worry, I worry as far as like Minnesota really truly contending for a championship without her. So I'm pretty sure they're hoping at some point she can get healthy enough to play just to kind of see what the experiment will look like. Because I'm sorry, and Olivia Miles Nafisa Collier tandem might be. I love my dream. It might be the most dangerous tandem in the league if we finally get to see them. That's saying something.
That is though. Fellas, we got to move on. We got to talk about the NFL top 10 QB list. ESPN, Jeremy Fowler released the top 10 QB list ranked by the executives, the coaches, the scouts. Number 1 was Josh Allen. 2 was Patrick Mahomes. 3 is Matthew Stafford. 4 is Joe Burrow. 5 is Lamar Jackson. 6, Dak Prescott. 7th, Justin Herbert. 8th, Drake May. 9th, Jared Goff. And 10th, Caleb Williams. BRF, I see your reaction. I'll let you go first.
So I saw quite a few people posting on IG about this list. All right, this is my first kind of gripe is because of what some fans were saying. So let me get this straight. Y'all are mad at y'all are saying stuff about Dak Prescott being in the top 10, but y'all don't draw the line about Jared Goff and Caleb Williams.
Jared Goff, to his credit, though, he actually played very well.
I don't think Jared Goff's a top 10 quarterback in this league. And to
That's
me,
debatable, though.
to me, the second half of
Oh, you
last
finna
season,
get to me.
and the
You
second,
finna get to me.
and to me, the second half of last year, he didn't look like his usual self. He didn't look like his usual 8, 9, 10 ranked self as far as a top 10 quarterback in the league. He didn't look like it the second half of last season. Caleb Williams already 10.
Well,
I
you know
mean,
the hype, the attention he was gonna have coming out.
yeah, and let me tell you something. And he made some. He's got arm talent. He's got some arm talent, but I didn't like how so many people were tripping about Dak Prescott. But yet we ain't. But Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback in this league right now, whether we want to admit it or not. He kind of is. I mean, by default, because people got to understand who are we taking. Who are we taking out of this list? I think that's probably what a lot of it is, and I think you have to look at this top 10 list. Who are we on? Who? How many can we honestly replace in this list? I think the Jared Goff is like probably my first choice as far as like 9.
I mean, think about it, BR. Look at the numbers he did put up. You mentioned the second half, late in the season against the Cowboys when they won that game, albeit against the Cowboys defense. 25-34, 309 yards, 1 touchdown. The loss against the Los Angeles Rams. Close game, though. 25-41, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Steelers game, they lost that one. 29-24, 34-54, 364 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think the last couple of games, Minnesota and Chicago, he did kind of struggle. But BRF, to his credit, Jared Goff has been consistent. And mind
He
you, he was
has.
able to do this without Ben Johnson. The best
Yeah.
comparison that I have for Jared Goff, he's the modern version of Matt Ryan. because Matt Ryan, he puts up a lot of consistent numbers throughout the regular season, doesn't have a lot of mobility as Jared Goff. And think of with Jared Goff, the narrative of Jared Goff. Remember, early in his career, a lot of people thought after his rookie season, he was labeled a bust. And that was a large part because of Jeff Fisher.
I'm about to say, yeah, we know who the head coach was in LA at the
Yeah,
time. So, yeah.
Right. And look what
Ironically, Jeff Fisher ruined 2 careers. Ruined Vince Young's career and ruined
I'm telling you, boy.
Jared Goff.
I'm telling you, boy. If guys like Sean McVay and Andy Reid or quarterback whisperers, uh, Jeff Fisher is one of those is like the crab dragging them back down to the bottom of the barrel. He's one of those type of coaches.
right.
But
Then you look at what he's done in Detroit after the Rams traded up 2 first-round picks, him and a third-round pick for Matthew Stafford. Has Jared Goff have been to a Super Bowl? No, but he has at least gotten the Lions to a couple of playoff appearances, the NFC Championship game, and also last year. I'm sorry, 2 years ago when they lost to my Washington Commanders when they had the number 1 seed. Jared Goff, I have no problem with him being in the top 10 because he has been consistent. He has put up the numbers, and he even did it without Ben Johnson. How would the Lions offense be without Ben Johnson? Because they not only lost Aaron Glenn, they also lost Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson has done a terrific job with Caleb Williams so far. Meanwhile, Aaron Glenn, that's a story for another day. I have Justin Herbert as my 6th best quarterback. I think people are saying Josh Allen number 1 because how they look at Patrick Mahomes the last couple of years since that 3rd Super Bowl. The bigger problem I have is Burrow.
I still don't get with Josh Allen being over Patrick Mahomes. I get the last couple. No,
Not to mention,
I get the.
the ACL injury. I also think, but to your point, BRF, I still can't get over Josh Allen's performance against the Denver Broncos.
Exactly. And another reason why I was saying about Jared Goff is when you go back and you look at that second half of that season, Trevor Lawrence was a better quarterback than Jared Goff. And I can't believe I'm fixing my mom to say that. Trevor Lawrence was a better quarterback.
Okay, the second half of the season, but let me ask you this. Would you still take Trevor Lawrence over Jared Goff?
Boy, you know how bad of a question that is you're asking right now? Because I really don't trust neither one of them.
But you have to make a choice. It's kind of like chitlins or pig's feet. Which one you want?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to eat neither one of them. But the matter is which one doesn't taste as bad. Oh, Jesus. I guess default because of playoff appearances and performances, you have to go Goff. But even still, he's not the greatest in the playoffs. He's been there more, but it doesn't mean he plays good when he gets there.
No, but neither has Herbert, and we all know how Herbert is come postseason time. But
Yeah,
we still consider
Herbert is all at this point. I'm tired of the Justin Herbert hype. It's all woulda, coulda, shoulda, potential. All I hear with Justin Herbert is potential, 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 potential. I'm tired of the Justin Herbert hype. I'm tired of it. And now people are gonna be, and now it's like, oh, he's got Mike McDaniel this year as the offensive coordinator, now it's gonna unlock. Now this has to unlock Justin Herbert. Mike McDaniel, as great of a play caller as he is, this has to unlock Justin Herbert because of Mike McDaniel.
You know why I'm laughing? You know why I'm laughing when you brought up Mike McDaniel? Imagine because it goes back to that draft between the Dolphins and the Chargers. Because remember, Flores, he wanted Herbert. But they went with Tua, and now what a coincidence! Mike McDaniel, who was with Miami as the head coach, worked with Tua. Imagine what he's going to do with Justin Herbert, and you got the production with Tua.
The production with Tua, surprisingly efficient and surprisingly like the peak with peak Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. And then Devin Achane in the background. That year where it was him and Raheem Mostert in the background, like that peak was like it was something to be reckoned with because those boys were putting up points. So you should think with a more talented quarterback in Justin Herbert This should unlock him to realize even more of his potential. And but the receiving core ain't that great. It's good, but it's not that great. I do love Omarion Hampton. I've been a fan of his. So
McConkey.
I yeah, you got Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnson. Blessed be thy name. Showed up last year. Actually had a good year. Showed up last year, and I
Miracle.
and yeah, it was a miracle. But damn it, he remembered he had hands, and he displayed them on plenty of
Yep.
occasions last year. Quentin Johnson had a good year last year. We
Mhm.
can't knock him. We can't knock him for last year. He had a good year. But I like it's the tight ends that I'm looking at that kind of get me a little excited. It's the tight ends because it's David Njoku and it's Aronde Gaston the second. I like the upside that Aronde Gaston the second was starting to show, and David Njoku was consistent in Cleveland. That's all you have to say. David Njoku was a consistent tight end with Cleveland. That's all you have to say. So the tight end room actually gets me excited in San Diego, and I'm getting like champs in San Diego, Los Los Angeles, Los Angeles, and this is definitely the best defense he's had. It's the best defense Justin Herbert's had with the ingredients that with the groceries, with the ingredients, with the meal that they finally cooked for him in Los Angeles. This should they win the division? Yes. Am I picking them to win the division? I'm not.
I have
Just
Denver.
because I still have Denver. I still have Denver winning the division. But don't get me wrong. I think should they both make the playoffs? Yes, they should. Denver and LA should both make the playoffs. But I'm tired of waiting for this fully bloomed Justin Herbert to show and really kind of take this franchise, by the, just take the keys and just really
By the
drive it
horns.
to just grab the bull by the horns and finally get it to where we feel like he can get them to, which is an AFC championship appearance, ultimately a Super Bowl appearance. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, we ready for you. Are you gonna do it now? And then he keeps crapping the bed in the playoffs. I'm just like, okay, okay. They got rid of the Greg Roman excuse. Now it's Mike McDaniel. You got to take this step now. You have one of the more elite play callers in the game. You have to take this step because if you don't take this step with Mike McDaniel, I'm officially leaving Justin Herbert the hell alone, and I'm ready to leave him alone now. But he's got this one shot with me with Mike McDaniel. He got to do it though. He got to do it though because we know how good of a play caller Mike McDaniel is. So obviously he can take these wide receivers they have in LA and help them translate into this offense and make them better than what they have been. He should be able to do that with every key cog in this offense to make it run. He's got to do it. But it's all on Justin Herbert to really get it done. I mean, it's on. I don't know, man. I'm tired of waiting for him to show up. And then you have guys that come out of the woodwork and either beat him or just show more glimpses in the playoffs at a younger stage than he has in his entire career. So I get it's just one of those things with me.
I as far as with QB lists, I got a problem with Joe Burrow above Lamar Jackson. And I have a problem with Jeremy Fowler when he said that Joe Burrow is Tom Brady. He's more Andrew Luck.
He's the closest thing to Tom Brady. I'm like, man, if you don't shut up.
But again,
He's
that's what
more
happened.
Andrew Luck than Tom Brady.
That's what I said, big fella. That's what you also said on your TikTok video. Um,
Yeah.
I understand. I do think Jalen Hurts, whether anyone wants to believe it or not, should deserve some top 10 consideration
He does.
because in terms of production, he's able to get the job done. Do I think he's top 5? Certainly I do not. But he definitely belongs in that top 10 conversation because of wins. I just think that the executives, scouts, and so many others, they don't see Jalen Hurts that way because of his style of winning. He doesn't do it the type of way that Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, Allen does it, but he still finds the way to get the job done. So I have to give Jalen Hurts some top 10 consideration. Brock Purdy, some people may not say he's a top 10 quarterback, but Brock Purdy, if there's one special attribute he does bring to the table, his improvisation,
Mm-hmm.
the way he can extend the play. But BRF, I respectfully disagree with you. I have no problem with Jared Goff at that top 10 because he's consistent. He does put up the numbers. Say what you want about the second half of the season. I said, Champ, I don't know if you heard this. I said to me, he's the modern day version of Matt Ryan. You know, he's kind of like built like Matt Ryan, 6'4, 216, 220-ish type of dude, consistently puts up numbers, doesn't have the most mobility in the world, but smart. And I think with Jared Goff, the way he was able to put up these types of numbers, mind you, without Ben Johnson, second second in the NFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns. I think that does has a lot to say though. We can look at the weapons around them with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Laporta, who's an excellent red zone threat. And how is Detroit going to be without Sonic and Knuckles? Of course, David Montgomery, he's now with the Houston Texans. Sony Gibbs, and shout out to him, rated 98 overall on Madden, highest rated running back for Madden 2027. The bigger problem I have with this list, like I said, Burrow being above Lamar Jackson. Because if we're going to say availability is the best ability, we can't say that with Joe Burrow.
Exactly.
We cannot say that as good and as talented Joe Burrow is. We can't use that argument with Joe Burrow. Now, I expect sooner or later Jaden Daniels to be back into that top 10 conversation. Last year, it was a down year, of course, with Washington because of the injuries that he had, and on top of that, Washington's type of season. But I do think that Jaden Daniels, hold on, he's going to remind himself he's going to have, he's going to be back in that top 10 conversation. Now that Terry McLaurin has had an off season, no OTAs or anything like that, or anything. He's not working or trying to negotiate for a contract. He already got his bag. I think with Jaden Daniels, with the new offensive coordinator, and the fact that Jaden Daniels is coachable, I think he's going to show a lot for Washington. But big fella, what are your thoughts on the top 10 QB list?
My thoughts is this is a great list, courtesy ESPN, in order to get people talking. Because I'm gonna just be real. I'm just gonna be very, very brutally honest with you. How do you have the guy? I understand that Josh Allen won the MVP last year, but in my humble opinion, based on what he's done, especially when he's healthy, he's still number one. When you have the thing is, people these talking heads, they forgot to add context to a lot of things. Number one, that offensive line was very much lacking in Kansas City. They lost Joe Thuney, which was the heart and soul of that line. They lost two key offensive linemen. And like I always say, the quarterback can't throw on his back. And he got injured last year. And who are you going to take if you need to win a championship, regardless of what your team is? You're going to take Patrick Mahomes. That's what you're going to take. You're going to take Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen has not won a championship. Lamar has not won a championship. Joe Burrow has not won a championship. You're going to take the guy who can frequently win. You can never count him out of a game. He's won on the road. He's won at home. Who are you going to take? I understand that Josh Allen love fest, and we all love Josh Allen. He is from Buffalo. He is, what Jim Kelly was, and more, maybe even more. But we got to state facts. The guy who's been winning the longest, Patrick Mahomes. There's a reason why he got a $500 million contract. And not only that, Patrick Mahomes is a kingmaker. He is a kingmaker. He's gone out there with guys who wasn't necessarily household names and won Super Bowls with them. Whereas a lot of guys are adding pieces to their team. I'll take a page out of Trent's book and Trey's book and say this. They took away during that Super Bowl run that Patrick Mahomes had. Every piece that he ever had was taken away, and he was still able to win championship. Tyreek Hill 1 year, Eric Bieniemy the next year, and then so forth and so forth. They was able to take away a lot of different things, and he was still able to win championships. So based on what you have done, not just on the recency bias, Patrick Mahomes should be number one. Now, I'm gonna just be all the way above. Lamar Jackson should not be at number 5. I understand he was hurt last year, but guess what? Fully healthy, you can't stop him. Can't stop him. One of the most unstoppable quarterbacks as far as mobility we've ever seen. So, and if we're going to talk about the best ability is availability, then Joe Burrow has yet to play 2 consecutive years fully, 2 full seasons. Since his first year in the league, he has yet to play 2 full seasons in a row, much less 3. Much less 3. And that Super Bowl run, before anybody started to bring that up, it's becoming a distant memory at this point in time. In the great words of Janet Jackson, to take a page out of the Sportspsp book, what have you done for me lately?
And outside of that AFC Championship where he outdueled Mahomes, he really didn't play all that well that playoff run.
And also, look, if if there was ever a year where a quarterback has to prove a lot, prove that he can win it all, it's this year. Because they spent a mint on that damn defense this year, and then they went and got Dexter Lawrence. They spent a lot on that defense this year in order to make it better. And you already had your weapons coming back. And people are gonna say, "Oh yeah, you know where they would have made the playoffs during that year." Go back and pay attention to that year when he could have won the MVP had they made the playoff. He was a lot of the reason they were in that damn slump in the first place. Yeah. So if we're gonna start with this narrative that the best ability is availability, then guess what? Hey, let's play that game. And let's not get into, oh yeah, well, Lamar has had talent. Joe Burrow has had talent. He's had talent. He's had talent on offense. Lamar Chase is probably one of the best receivers in the league. He has one of the best receiving combos in the league. He's had good running backs. I mean, on the offensive side of the ball. So let's not get into, well, no, he's had talent on the offensive side of the ball. He's had that talent. So if you really want to go shot for shot, let's go there. Like I stated, I really believe that ESPN, during the course of the summer and everything, they're looking for stories and they're fishing for stories. And it's kind of like going to the lake and you know you really can't find that, so you start pulling anything out of the bucket at this point. I believe this was a rage bait list, and that's what they're trying to do. And look, like I said, this is the most talent that Joe Burrow has had thus far in his career, offense on the defensive side of the ball. You have every reason in order to succeed. And you don't know, you already know that the Steelers are not going to be that good. There's a lot of questions about the Browns. So it's a two-man race in the AFC North. It's you and Lamar. And he just got a new coach. And they just took away Todd Monken. Look at guys and what happened when they lose their offensive coordinators. Look at them. I will use Jared Goff as an example. And the Detroit offense is a prime example. It wasn't to its optimal as it was. We're used to seeing them put up a shit ton of points. We saw them put up points, but it wasn't that optimal offense that we normally see. Ask Jalen Hurts what happens when you lose your offensive coordinator. Nobody knows better than him. So you have all of these advantages going in your favor this year. Baltimore Ravens coach, longtime coach, just got fired. He's in New York. They lost their coach Todd Monken. He stays in the AFC North. But you don't know what he's going to be able to do and who's going to be the star quarterback. Pittsburgh, you don't know. Mike McCarthy is a good coach, but this roster, no. So right now it's 2-man race between you and Lamar. Let's see what you do with the most talented team that you've had to date. Like I said, I believe this is just another rage bait list on the part of ESPN. And that's my story in the great words of someone famous, and I'm sticking to it.
I think, look, with this top 10 QB list, Jeremy Fowler, he lost me when he said Joe Burrow is the modern version of Tom Brady.
Joe Burrow is 1-6 against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that up too, by the way.
1-6.
Here's my thing with it. I don't have Dak Prescott above Justin Herbert, but I can understand why those may feel like Dak would say over Herbert because of the playoff experience, even though Dak didn't make the playoffs last year, but statistically, he did have a heck of a season in terms of the numbers. Dallas didn't make the playoffs, let alone win the division because of how awful the defense is. And I think there's going to be expectations for them to compete in the NFC East and win that division. I think it's between Philadelphia and Dallas as far as the division is concerned. Um, I have no problem with Jared Goff being there because again, he's still consistent. He still puts up the numbers. I know BRF disagrees, but respectfully, I don't know how Champ feels about it. But hey, Jared Goff did put up numbers even without Ben Johnson. So that means a lot to me because again, Jared Goff has been considered, oh, he's just a system quarterback. Imagine if you put him with the right type of system, the right type of guy, the right type of guy. He's proven he's a lot better quarterback than he's given credit for. Let's give him that. I'm not saying he's a franchise caliber type of quarterback, but he's a better quarterback than he's given credit for, given the fact that he was drafted with the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, you kind of have to. You have to give Jared Goff those kudos because
I mean,
when the
hell,
when the when the
he went through purgatory with Jeff
you
Fisher.
know what I'm saying? Yeah, like when the Rams made that trade to get Matthew Stafford from Detroit for Goff, that wasn't no like, that wasn't no QB for QB swap. That was like, okay, you're no good. We're gonna send you to the we're gonna send you like to the closest place to purgatory that we could send you. We're getting a guy who's been in purgatory. We're gonna bring him in. We got the talent around him. We're gonna up, and he's that missing piece. Like they brought Matthew Stafford in as the missing piece. This wasn't no QB for QB swap. This was the Matthew Stafford as the final piece to win a championship. And then, albeit here comes Jared Goff, just comes out of nowhere, finds the mojo, and really has balled out since he's been in Detroit. I mean, I give him that, but honestly though, I feel like with the quarterback play in the league nowadays, I feel like the top 10 list is just basically a battle of attrition, and you're here on it. There's not like usually like it's like this is the top 10, and then there's like two, maybe three other guys, possibly four, that might be in top 10 consideration. Whereas years past, you could have a top 10 and you could have like six, seven, eight guys that you could say were top 10 consideration. I don't know. I guess it's one of those things where it's like Jared Goff's 9. Who can you realistically swap out at 9 for Jared Goff? And kind of like that with Caleb Williams being at 10 to a certain extent. Can you realistically swap someone out for either one of those two? Like I
Would you
said, I
consider
think
Jordan Love?
I would consider Jordan Love. Jordan Love for me is in top 10 consideration. Trevor Lawrence, I can't believe I'm actually saying it. Trevor Lawrence is in top 10 consideration. Jalen Hurts should most definitely be in top 10 consideration. Baker Mayfield should be in top 10 consideration. And honestly, after those four, I think it probably stops. I think it stops. I know
Yeah,
I know
you.
some crazy Carolina fans will say Bryce Young, but nah,
No,
I
no, no,
think
no,
I
no.
think it stops at four.
Really?
It stops at Jordan Love. It's Jordan Love. It's Jalen Hurts. It's Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts. It's Trevor Lawrence, and it's Baker Mayfield. And I think it stops.
I'm just laughing because Champ sounded a lot like what Mama. No, you can't
Bryce
make an
Young,
argument. I don't know if you can make an argument. You can't make an
Nah,
argument for Bryce Young
nah, you
top 10.
can't.
Hell, you can't
You
even make
can't.
an argument for CJ
You can't make you
top
can't
10.
make an argument for CJ at this stage. That's
Oh
what I'm
no, you
saying.
can't make no arguments for neither one of them fellas.
You can't make an argument for
Especially
neither one
not
of them.
especially not the poor man's version of Brett Favre,
Oh, Anthony Richardson.
the interception king. No, we called him well, my bad, Vinny Testaverde.
And you talk about my pipe bombs.
Hey,
Shit.
CJ
I mean, am I
Stroud.
lying though?
You're not
CJ
lying,
He's
but
another Vinny Testaverde.
CJ Stroud deserved to be like if we can bring back shame, what CJ Stroud did in those playoffs was just
it was
just downright diabolical. As bad as he played in the playoffs,
it was dreadful.
completely.
Speaking of QBs though, Lamar Jackson was ranked 69th on the NFL's top 100 list. Anyone care to comment?
What the?
I'll blame it on injury taxes. I will blame it on injury taxes and give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's just blame it on injury taxes because we
remember it's judged every single
God.
year and it's voted by the players. So
they could kiss
I
my
blame injury
ass
taxes.
about injury taxes.
I'm not
right. Champ, but Champ's right. But they could kiss my whole ass about injury taxes. 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in the limited games he played, and the 4 highest passer rating in the National Football League in the limited time he played, and he is 69th. There are not 68 better players than Lamar Jackson in the league when you go position by decision. You're lucky if you find 6 or 7.
He was and look, that takes into consideration. They had a chance to make the playoffs last year. Well, although they had a lot of chances in order to make the playoffs and get into the playoffs, regardless of their defense and everything. So injury taxes, along with you having a chance to make it to the playoffs, gonna get some taxes done to you at least. Now, granted, I will agree with you. There's not 68 players. The judge the king is him, but just to be unbiased.
All I'm saying is if we using that, I do not want to see Patrick Mahomes in the top 20. I don't. Because I promise you, Patrick Mahomes is going to be in the top 10 somewhere. If we're going by injury taxes, Patrick Mahomes better not be in the top 20. These players, I'm telling you, the top 100 been some BS the last few years.
I mean, it is voted on by your peers, so I mean, you're gonna have guys who you love. You're gonna have guys, and you're gonna be a little bit biased. If anybody asks me who the best podcasters is, I'm gonna automatically say you, Flash, and PSP. That's just the bottom line. To me, y'all are the best podcasters in my humble opinion. Even some guys on larger platforms. So there's a little bit of bias.
I would say Trent.
And Trent.
I would, yeah.
All the guys I'm supposed to.
And I highly appreciate that you think of me in that high of a level. I appreciate that. I mean, realistically, you know what I'm saying? Realistically, no, but I appreciate it. Yeah, because like I'm with PSP. I like as far as the people that I watch on a regular basis. Trent is just Trent. I got to give it to him as a young guy. He's just on another level with this. He's on another level with this. So I mean,
not just Trent. Let's also give love to Donnie knows his football.
Mastermind.
Early
hot take. Kenny took over DreamCon.
Kenny's awesome. Kenny's awesome.
Kenny took over DreamCon.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, like. I don't
get the best one. I'm going to automatically say you, Flash, and PSP.
Yeah, I mean, we don't get to holler at him as much because I know he, life is life and then he got going on. But the Steel Champs Thunder, the subject matter expert, the SME, got to shout out Casual.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Yes,
champ, people
bro. If I basketball, yeah,
Basketball,
yeah. I can't name one person better than Casual.
I can't, it's hard. It's hard.
but champ,
It's hard.
but champ, of course you're gonna say people gonna look at it outside and say, of course you're gonna say BRF and PSP because of our relationship and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, you're gonna. Even though it's by a jury of your peers, it's gonna be a little bit biased in it. It's gonna be a little bit biasness in it. So you're gonna if you had your chance to shit on Lamar Jackson as a player, here's your chance to, because guess what? Like I said, injury taxes, and guess what? And you had a chance to make the playoffs and didn't do it. So if there was ever a chance you as a player got a chance in order to kind of shit on Lamar, then guess what? Now's the time to do it. And I believe that was the time. I don't believe there's 68 players better than he is as far as him being as dynamic as he is. He's a Hall of Famer already, if you really want me to be honest. Name a Hall. I mean, if you got two MVPs and you've been as dynamic as he is, you are in that conference. You are in the Hall of Fame right now. If he retired today, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Probably
But
would have won three
yeah, give
MVPs,
him
but
that
that's a
chance.
story for another day.
I'm I'm
Yeah, I
just
mean,
I'm I'm just
well,
curious.
don't even get that conversation started, PSP. You already know folks gonna start talking about that damn MVP.
I'm
Man, I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say at this
um
point.
I'm
um
Man,
just
fuck
saying
it.
because I had a large problem with them calling it, with Josh Allen, the MVP.
I know, but
Yeah,
if Lamar Jackson had won the MVP, you couldn't go wrong with it. You were the one who said
yeah,
MV3 with Lamar Jackson. I did say Allen should win it because of what he was able to do that season, considering the fact first
without
year without
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, and there wasn't that much offensive help. But how you gonna? But it's really hard to ignore somebody who threw 40 something touchdowns, only four interceptions, and 4,000 yards. Those are Aaron Rodgers esque numbers. But I
And
think
then
with
the
Lamar,
800 yards rushing.
yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you. But the thing is, I think for Lamar Jackson, 69th again, it was no surprise based on injuries and again recency. It's voted by the players. They do it every single year. To BRF's point now, if Patrick Mahomes is in that 20s, given by the criteria, given the criteria, if he's in the 20s, that's a problem. If Joe Burrow's in the 20s, that's a problem because of durabilities. So my thing is keep it consistent. Keep the
exactly.
same energy.
I
That's
don't
all
I
we
don't
saying.
I don't want to see either one of them in the top 20 players in the league. I don't want to see them in the top 20. I don't want to see them in the teens. I do not want to see either one of them in the top 20s. Y'all, we got to keep the same energy because if both of them make the top, if both of them are in the teams, and we got Lamar Jackson at 69, and we playing his injury tax game, I'm just saying
And like I
that
said, he had a chance to make the playoffs last year.
oh,
He live in Pittsburgh near the end.
That Steelers game was not his fault.
No,
So no,
no, it wasn't
it's
his
not.
fault. I mean,
But the
unfortunately, I
thing
mean
is, they
the
had a
kicker did
chance.
miss the field goal, and
You
also
know what I'm
to the
saying?
defense.
You know what I'm saying? He
The kicker
can't
did
he
miss the
kind
field
of
goal.
last season was one of them kind of years he can't help. He got hurt. The defense forgot how to stop a nosebleed and put them in such a hole. And then he came back and damn near digged them out of it. And then you get to Pittsburgh, and then it's just one of them games where it was just like made the best team win, and Pittsburgh just made more plays than they did. But yeah, that's just one of them you just chalk up the, in my
Yeah.
opinion, you chalk up the like variance and
You
parity
shit
in the
on him. I
league.
mean, yeah, that's what I blame it on, the injury taxes and the fact he could have got to the playoffs. That's what I blame it on. Just to be an unbiased reporter. But like I said,
I
if
mean,
you want
you're right,
a
but
player
you're
in the
right. I
NFL
mean,
and you
you're
want to,
absolutely right. You're
yeah.
absolutely right.
But if you're ever a player of his peers and want to shit on him, then but so, and then not to mention that ultimately cost missing the playoffs, I believe, was one of the factors. I don't think it was going to bring it back anyway, but you know, a lot of people will say that ultimately cost Harbaugh his job. I believe they was going to get rid of him anyway if they didn't get to a Super Bowl this year, but they're going to say that, given the biasness and stories of sports.
All right, all right, that's fair. Guys, let's do something else before we get down to Babyface Hill. We'll do this with the NFC. Your NFC South. Who do you have winning the division?
You gonna ask two Falcons fans who you got winning the NFC South? um,
Hey, entertainment. What better
In
what
the
better
great
way
words of
than
Baby
to,
D, ATL. ATL. I think ATL can do it this year, man. They got the equipment in order to do it this year. We shirred up that defense even more. Zachariah Branch. I don't know if people see him in camp or not. We have receiving core. We have the running back. We
he
have
took
the
care of Kyle
defense at this
Pitts?
one time.
that
He took
shocked
care of
me.
Kyle
I didn't
Pitts.
think we
They
were
have,
gonna take care of him that early. That shocked me.
Well, I
yeah,
think
but luckily we
he's
did.
starting to get his act together, and not
But
only that,
it was the but honestly, yeah, giving Kyle Pitts the money was the right move because you don't you I
Yeah.
mean with what he showed last year, and it kind of seems like he's got his head on straight. You don't let unicorns like that just walk for nothing.
and you got to
You
justify BRF because you did draft him with the fourth overall pick
yeah,
in that
and
draft. So
it
you
was
got
it
to
was
make
for me it was the Tampa Bay game that really was like it was the Tampa Bay game that got him paid. Let's just keep it 100. The Tampa Bay game got him paid because
I
he
think
finally showed the ceiling. Like he's had his good games, but that was the ceiling that you kind of like expect to see out of him, like when he's clicking on all cylinders. The Tampa Bay game was what got him paid. But
I
I'll
think the
try to.
turning
I'll be.
point in that game for Kyle Pitts, his career, was the game against the Commanders on Sunday Night
Mhm.
Football. Although they
Yeah,
lost that
the
one,
game time touchdown.
yes,
Mm, yes, I can. You can definitely point to that as like a turning point because it kind of it got his focus in track. So yeah, you can definitely kind of turn to that as a turning point for him. But
but
I'll
that
be
being
unbiased.
said, your QBs, both of them are
That
going
what I'm
to end
saying.
up in the hospital.
That's what I'm getting ready to say. That's why I'm gonna operate. I'm gonna operate this like an unbiased journalist here. I look at all four teams in the NFC South, and folks might think I'm crazy to say this, but you can't write any of the four off. And particularly, it's crazy to include New Orleans in this, but you look at how Tyler Shuck played when he got the starting job, and you see we gave them so much crap for drafting him over Shadur Sanders, but thanks to him,
They ain't been here.
he validated the draft pick. So I like I like what New Orleans did in the draft. I like what they've done. They kept Alvin Kamara. They kept Alvin Kamara. He's gonna play another year there. Um, I like what they bring to the table from an offensive standpoint. You know, I'm not gonna write off. I'm not gonna say they're just a lock for fourth. I'm not gonna do it because I don't know who's gonna finish fourth in this division. I think the teams are just so like there's not a lot of room with either of these teams. You go to Tampa. I mean, you still have Baker Mayfield. You have Jalen McMillan. You have Emeka Ibuka. You did lose Mike Evans to the San Francisco 49ers. Um, but I mean, you do still have talent on both sides of the ball in Tampa. You still got Antoine Winfield Jr. Um, you have talent on both sides of the ball in Tampa, so you can't write them off. And I mean, you still have Todd Bowles as a head coach. So I mean, he is he has shown to be a good regular season coach. So you can't write off Tampa and Carolina. And look, we give Carolina so much crap, but honestly, when you look at how that team is operated and how they're building that roster, they're doing a really good job. They are doing a good job building that roster.
They did their part by getting in Jalen Phillips. They finally
Yes,
did their part by getting Tierra McMillan. Got
exactly.
they got Jay
Eh,
Coker and Bryce Young. I think it's pretty fair to say right now, which
he's
is
better
fair
than
to say,
CJ Stroud.
yes, but and not only that though, Bryce Young is turning around his career. And when I look at, unfortunately to you, BRF,
We
the
can't beat him.
Aints, the
We can't
Aints,
beat him. Ugh,
the Aints, you can't sleep on the Aints anymore. They also
right.
took care of Alvin Kamara. He's got that 1 year, $6 million contract. Tyler Shoe completes 67% of his passes. threw for over 2,384 yards, 13 touchdowns, 10 on the air, 3 rushing in his debut season. By the way, historical consistency. He noted he notably tied an NFL rookie record by throwing 3 consecutive games with 250 yards and 0 interceptions. And the fact that he is 6'5", unlike Drew Brees, he is 6'5". With that type of mobility and the fact that he is consistent, and with Kellen Moore as the head coach and calling the plays on offense, that's gonna be bold. The thing is, the X factor is Chris Olave.
Mm-hmm.
His concern, look, we know what Ohio State is when it comes to wide receiver. They are wide receiver you, and Olave is an exceptional route runner. If he can stay healthy, that's the thing with New Orleans. And not only that, they also got in Etienne at the running back.
I love the Travis Etienne signing. I love that for them.
Right,
Yeah, 1-2 combination with him and
right.
Alvin.
But
I think
champ,
Travis is going to be I think Travis is the starter.
he has to be.
I think
Yeah,
he's starting.
but they could kind of do them like they did with Mark Ingram and Reggie Bush.
Oh no! Oh,
Although Alvin was
most definitely,
a lot
most
more
definitely,
physical. But
most
Yes,
definitely.
use Alvin a little bit more in the passing game. ATN take that pounding. But I think that depending on how as far as Atlanta goes, I think they can win the division if the two quarterbacks can stay out of Grady. That'll be if they can stay out of Grady and Piedmont,
champ.
then
Is this your heart talking or this your mind? Because sometimes I feel like
this is my
some
mind. You have the talent. You have the
yeah,
talent.
but yeah, but you
And
talked about how
I haven't
Atlanta
heard.
is kind. Yeah, but you often talked about Atlanta is kind of like your sneaky link. I mean, they're gonna hurt you at some point in
She gonna
time.
let you down. Yeah, she gonna let you down. But I'll say this: you have the talent, and although I think it's kind of crazy that we haven't heard anything, we haven't heard not one word about a suspension from our best defensive player.
He's not. I don't think he's getting
And that
suspended at
being,
this point.
that's just the thing. I haven't heard not one word about suspension for James Pierce Jr. So you bring back all your pass rushers, you revamp that secondary, you add to that secondary, you add other pass rushers through the draft and free agency. Now you have the defense. You kept Jeff Ulbrich, you kept the core, keeping him with that defense, kind of like keep Buddy Ryan as a defensive coordinator. He's a hell of a defensive coordinator, and it proved itself last year. And now, depending on what you can do in the quarterback position, you can do a lot of things. Now, one thing I think we need to watch is Bijan. Bijan can definitely be an MVP candidate this year. But I really believe that depending, if the quarterback play has to be decent. Doesn't have to be lights out. It has to be decent. Put up 27 touchdowns.
Can you trust
So
Tua
if
to
we
take
can
care of the
get the
football?
playoff.
That's another concern too.
I still want Penix to be
What?
the starter. I mean, I know people are like, well, Tua's been the starter. He's had good years. He's kind of along more of the proven side. This team's ceiling is Michael Penix Jr. I think for this team to get to where they want to go, Michael Penix Jr. needs to be the
Or
starter.
whoever doesn't end up at Grady.
Yeah, but I think this team has a higher ceiling and has more upside with Michael Penix Jr. as a starting quarterback. I get you want consistency, and Tua might give you that. Like knowing this, like this is basically another form of the offense he saw with Mike McDaniel with the Miami Dolphins. This was another form of this offense. He kind of understands it, but at the same time, I think Tua has okay arm strength, but I just feel like this team to get to where they want to be, Michael Penix Jr. needs to really kind of
Offense defense is gonna roll
take
with
a hold
Tua.
of this quarterback job.
BRF, to your point, I think Stefanski's gonna roll with Tua simply because who would you say is the better fit for Stefanski's offense?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's Penix because Stefanski does like to get the ball down the field, and that fits Penix's arm a lot more. I think Tua is just the veteran that is the veteran. You want the veteran guy in there. You're counting on him to not make mistakes. I just think it's more of kind of like a proven thing, which is why Stefanski probably will go with Tua. But I think for the offense, the full totality of what Kevin Stefanski likes to do on offense is Penix. But I think Tua is just the veteran.
Yeah, in terms of the potential and the upside, of course, you would go with Penix. He has the stronger arm and and the athletic ability. But the thing is, unfortunately, he can't stay healthy. And big fella, I mean, look, Atlanta, man, too many times they're gonna break your heart. I mean, it's kind of like you trying to impress that girl. You trying to you see that beautiful girl at the nightclub, and then you take her to the house, and then y'all doing your thing, and the next morning you can't even get her number nor the drawers.
Hmm.
So that's kind.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, we kind of can't use the injury thing because I mean, good gracious, Tua is one concussion away from retiring himself. So we really
Right.
can't use.
So,
So we really can't use the injury argument.
but that's the thing. If those two are injured, not wishing injury, who you gonna hire? BRF.
I mean,
You gonna bring us
they're both
behind
hurt.
that Atlanta Falcons offensive line? You better
I
get
know,
five.
I know. But I mean, you screwed. I mean, you screwed at that point, but at the same time, we kind of looking a little too far ahead if we already worrying about either one of them getting hurt. I mean, we kind of looking a little too far ahead. So I mean, it's kind of it's one of those. Like I said, it's just one of those. It's one of those things. I think Atlanta is the most talented team in the division, but the thing is, we probably have the worst quarterback room right now, and that's kind of crazy to say. Um, I Like I said, it's one of those things where I'm not just gonna run and say, "Oh, we're gonna win the division," just because I don't know. I don't know. Like you want to trust the quarterback room, but you can't trust the quarterback room, and then the other three teams is like, I don't. Man, the NFC South is going to be another crapshoot. I don't know who's going to win the division. It wouldn't shock me if I mean, last year was just crazy, like having all those teams tie at 8 and 9, and then Carolina winning the division just because they beat us. So it's just like
I have
was what.
Carolina winning the division again.
Mm,
No,
I can
because I think
understand why.
they took a step up with defense by adding in Phillips. We keep talking about defensive tackles and Jeffrey Simmons, Jalen Carter, but Derek Brown from the Carolina Panthers. He's very, very underrated. Obviously the cornerback with JC Horn. So I do like that. I think now that Bryce Young, now that he has a number one wide receiver in McMillan, and also with Coker, who's not that bad. He's actually a pretty solid for the team. And with this offense, I like what I'm seeing. David Corrales did a really good job. And finally, whoever thought that David Tepper would start to get his act together because, you know, he took over the team back in 2018 after the disgraced owner, Jerry Richardson. Now he's starting to have some stability. Now Carolina's starting to have something, some culture. It's starting to look good for Carolina. And I'm sorry, champ, but them ain'ts. You're gonna have to start paying a little bit more attention to them ain'ts because they've actually improved in the off season. So for Atlanta, it's not gonna be pretty easy. Yes, you have the talent. Yes, you have the roster, but with them two quarterbacks, with them injury issues, and if God forbid, if those two are injured, who you gonna have as a backup?
Gonna get ugly than the masterpiece sneakers.
Gonna be uglier than the president falling asleep. That's for sure.
Lord have mercy.
There you go. But we're gonna do NFC North next week on the Sports PSP pod. But fellas, my favorite topic on the Sports PSP podcast, baby face or heel. Now, for those who may not know what baby face heel means in wrestling language, baby face is a good guy, heel is a bad guy, a tweener is someone in between. First one, we're going to do basketball player, Rasheed Wallace.
Hmm. Hmm. He's a tweener for me. Yeah, Rasheed Wallace is a tweener because like man, yeah, his Portland days, whoo boy, his Portland days,
He
boy,
talked a lot of shit back in
he
them
boy,
days.
boy he swung a lot of fists too, boy, his Portland days were rough, and but at the same time though, he was talented, like you know what I'm saying, he was a really good player, like he was like people. You go back to Rasheed Wallace, his days in Portland, like he was like the ultimate kind of like do it all kind of player. You know, he could shoot, he could score on the inside, mid range, could shoot the three, defend, block, rebound. Like he could do everything. Like peak Rasheed Wallace, like his ceiling was like we were thinking like multi time All Star. You know, possibly potentially top 10 power forward ever. Like this ceiling was high for him. Um, and but the attitude and the antics and everything kind of messed it up for him. But then
And the
he goes to
Chappelle
the
show skit.
boy, but yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
Rasheed Wallace.
Rasheed Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, boy, we are not going there with the Chappelle show skit. All we're gonna say is if you haven't seen that skit, we highly suggest you do so. If you want a really really good laugh, it's one of the funniest things you'll ever see. Uh, but yeah, but then he gets traded. He has that one game blip with the Hawks, and then they send him to Detroit, and then it's like everything just kind of their stability. He goes to a stable organization. Larry Brown, the head coach. You got Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince. I mean, just all the pieces were in place to really kind of keep him in check and kind of keep him, hold him accountable. But then again, he goes there and he turns into like the model NBA citizen, and then Detroit, cultivates one of the great, well, the Eastern Conference dynasty of the mid to late 2000s. So he really definitely kind of if you want to say rehabbed his image a lot in Detroit, and then and now he does the podcast. You see him nowadays, talking and all that. And I think Detroit really kind of rehabbed his image a lot. So I don't. So like I said, he was never a baby face, and I think Detroit kind of really rehabbed him from being just a heel to me. So I'm gonna go tweener with Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, I go with Tweener as well for all the things that you mentioned. BRF. I mean, he was very difficult to deal with on the court, but again, played with a lot of heart. Loved his ability to stretch the floor, hit perimeter shots really good in them days in Portland. He was a good enough leader during his time with Detroit. I think when you have structure and when you have excellent players on the team that can fit into the system with Chauncey, Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, and then you also had other players coming off the bench, rest his soul,
Antonio
Cliff
McDyess.
Robinson, Antonio McDyess, Cliff
Yeah.
Robinson, rest his soul, Lindsey Hunter. So with that type of
Darvin Ham
structure,
was on that team too, right?
yes, he was.
Darvin Ham was on that team. Jesse was.
So when you have that type of
Yeah.
structure, that definitely works for you. And I mean, he's cool, man. A lot of personality, especially with the podcast things. I just love how players transition into the podcast world. But I say tweener, big fella.
Uh, Tweener. I'm not gonna be that guy, but it was just the attitude, man. But you gotta admire a guy for being himself, man. He wasn't gonna change for the media, and he wasn't gonna put on a show. So I admire that about Rasheed Wallace. I'm gonna be who I am, and if you don't like it, I really don't give a you know what at a certain point. And I admire that about Rasheed Wallace. Plus, man, look at his apex. Who could stop him? Yeah, we had trouble stopping him with Shaq and Kobe, and a lot of those great defensive stoppers that we had. So at his apex, he was pretty much unstoppable. It
He
was
almost
just
blew
the
a 3-1
attitude that he
lead
wasn't
though.
necessarily the media dog. Huh?
You almost blew a 3-1 lead against the Blazers in 2000, the Western
Yeah, we
Conference
did,
Finals.
but we didn't. But we
Yeah,
didn't.
you, yeah.
We still went on ahead and won that chip.
I'll say,
And then
but
three
I'll say this though. That Portland core, boy, I ain't gonna lie.
yeah,
Y'all kind of the Western Conference kind of lucked up that they couldn't come through and get to the finals, and ultimately they blew that squad up because that Portland squad, him and
yeah.
Bonzi
And
Wells, that core was frightening.
Scotty.
Scotty. Hey, if
Mm,
you want any more context about the Trailblazers, watch the documentary, The Champions. It'll give you a lot of insight on that team. It was one hell of a documentary, man. I urge everybody to watch the documentary, man. It explains everything. And you can't talk about that team and he has to talk about how you do to build the Seattle Sounders, build the Trailblazers, Atlantic. I give them a lot of credit for that.
All right. Next one. I think it's pretty fair to say babyface. Unanimous babyface. Rest his soul, Stuart Scott.
absolutely. We don't even need to we don't even need to harp on Stuart Scott. We know the
Like,
accolades. We know the accomplishments. That's easy.
I just like Stuart Scott from his days in Orlando, being the guy down in Orlando, his days on ESPN2 to when he finally got on ESPN and got on Sports Center. And I'm glad ESPN came out and brought him out a documentary to show everybody the road wasn't always easy for him. It wasn't always easy for him. And one of the one of the most charismatic guys you ever. I mean, look, man, you had to be there, man. You had to be there. And ESPN back then, you had Stuart Scott, you had Charlie Steiner, you had Dan Patrick, you had a cast
Rich
of some
Eisen.
of the most world-renowned journalists that you have ever seen. I don't think we will ever see journalism at that apex anymore. Journalism was at its apex during that point in time. I mean, even doing hockey, you had Barry Melrose, you had a little bit of everybody. So Stuart Scott, undisputed babyface, man. Rest in peace to the great one, man.
Because that brother was as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Yes,
Favorite moment
indeed.
from him was the speech he gave at the ESPYS in 2014. That
Mm,
I mean,
Yeah,
that was a fantastic speech. It just lets you know, no matter what odds or the circumstances are, regardless whether if you're battling cancer or whatever, just keep fighting, keep on trying until you can't anymore. So I give major kudos to Stuart Scott and what journalism and what broadcasting should be moving forward, because ever since we lost guys like him and other people in sports media, we've seen a huge decline, and it's just not the same anymore when it comes to journalism reporting. It's like more reality shows. But when you hear from Stuart Scott or somebody like that, it means a lot. It's refreshing. It's like, champ, you always tell me I'm like the Tom Joyner when it comes to broadcasting, or when it comes to podcasting. Well, because again, like Tom
yeah,
Joyner, he's a workaholic. I mean, they called him Fly Jock for a reason, because he would fly every morning to Dallas to do radio shows and then to Chicago to do afternoon shows. Stuart Scott perfected his craft when it came to the booyah, cool's the other side of the pillow, the hip hop style that he brought to sports media. And go take the time to watch the documentary on him, because he received a lot of hate mail. Remember, champ, in that documentary, he received a lot of hate mail
yeah. He
from,
received a lot of hate, not just from the outside world, but from his peers.
yeah,
And he told Rich Eisen, he said it's easy for you to implement Jerry Seinfeld or the comedians that you watch into sport. It's not easy for me to implement what I know into sports because people are going to judge it. But Stuart Scott was a cultural icon, man. He was everywhere. And I hate we lost him. I hate that. And
Yes.
I think one of the best interviews is the interview that he did with Robin. I think that one was great because remember both of them had battled cancer at a
Robin
certain point.
Roberts.
Yeah, Robin Roberts. I just call her Robin because I've been watching her for so long. Robin Roberts, excuse me. But when he did that interview with her, and she had the galley cancer herself, and that was a very very heartwarming interview, and I don't think that that should ever be understated. And look, he had the guts to go and try out for the New York Jets, although it has some repercussions behind it. He had the guts to go do it while he was reporting on that very very same team. That just goes to show you I want to live and go deep into my craft, not just be one of these guys who's a blimp on the map. Rest in peace to the great one of the greatest journalists I've ever seen. Not just black journalists, but one of the best journalists I've ever seen.
Yeah, like I'll kind of say a little bit before we move to the next topic. Just he he was, for me, out of all of the Sports Center anchors at the time when Sports Center was at their peak, he was the one that, we talk about the cultural icon, and just it was him that kind of led the charge as far as like the crossover and the mainstream appeal as far as ESPN. I mean, come on, man. Like when he was the Raise the Roof video with Uncle Luke. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
he was the main culprit in that. He was the main culprit in that music video. I mean, just stuff like that. You just know the crossover appeal, and just you just knew how iconic he already had become. So when the first time, so when the first live like news that I got when he passed was Rich Eisen doing Game Day. I saw the Rich Eisen Game Day live when he reported that Stuart Scott had passed away. And if anybody means anything, if any person means anything to Rich Eisen in this career, it's Stuart Scott.
Just those guys.
Because let me tell you something, my favorite ESPN Sports Center duo was Stuart Scott and Rich Eisen. I mean, just iconic, legendary duo. They just bounced off each other so well, and they just made it work, in my opinion, better than any other duo, just because they got each other. They got each other, and you could just see it. You could see the chemistry when they did the show together. So just seeing Rich Eisen, like, and everything, what Stuart Scott meant to him having to report that, just it broke my heart for him, because I know how
Yeah,
much Stuart Scott meant to Rich Eisen for his career. So you could just see how that really it twisted in him. You could just see it, and it was just so it was just so unfortunate knowing that we grew up with those are two of the guys that pretty much, if you want like a childhood, like growing up, you getting ready for school 6 something in the morning, you get dressed and then you get up and you watch a Sports Center 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning before you get ready to go to school. Man, it's Stuart Scott and Rich Eisen. That was the duo.
yeah,
So I mean, it was, yeah. Stuart Scott is Stuart Scott is just one of those that you know God works in mysterious ways, and he takes his angels when he feels like it's the right time, and he felt like it was the right time for Stewart. But we couldn't help to be selfish and wanted Stuart Scott around a little longer, because he was just everything as far as our childhood, growing up, being in the sports and watching Sports Center. He was everything for us. So as always, rest in peace to Stuart Scott, and always prayers and condolences to his family, his daughters, and everything. And just he's one of those people you can't help but be selfish for and wish you still had.
yeah. You want to be selfish. I mean, and I understand why Rich Eisenhart was broken. Can you imagine if something happened to me and then y'all have to do the show the next day?
Oh my, what? I wouldn't
Yeah.
want
That
to.
would be,
I wouldn't want to do it, man. That's how much y'all two already
but
mean to
you
me.
have
I
to
wouldn't
though.
want.
That's what I
Yeah,
would want y'all to do. Is but I would want y'all to do the show the very next day. Can you imagine that though? That
That's
was just
do
kind
you
of that'd
know
be
that,
kind of
but
crazy.
that it's crazy. But the great ones, what they do best is they compartmentalize
Yeah.
and then they continue on with it.
That's
But
the truth.
Stuart Scott definitely a role model. Yeah, I miss him. I miss what he well loved, well respected, revered. I just always love getting up every single morning watching ESPN, and he was a huge reason because of the catchphrases and the excitement that he would bring to sports media, and that is what I truly miss. And I just hope that sports media takes a page out of Stuart Scott's book. And last but not least, easily babyface, Michelle Obama.
Easy.
Uh, need I say more? I mean,
Can you? I'm sorry. The reason why I say Michelle Obama babyface is because I get sick and tired of the bullshit that she receives from her and Barack. I mean, obviously, the comments that the UFC fighter said about Michelle Obama being a man, which is
ludicrous.
And his explanation is one of the dumbest explanations I've ever heard.
but when
He actually had an explanation for
what was
that. I
his
would love to hear
explanation?
what he
What was
said.
it? What was
What
it?
was that? Go on,
Trying to
finish it.
make it seem like talking about how how strong she is and all this other stuff. Trying to make it compare it to like what the men do and how
Oh,
she
okay.
can hang with him
All
and all
right.
that other stuff. I'm like, man, if you don't shut your dumb ass up, I know what you meant. We know what you meant. Shut up.
Look, when it comes to classiness, as a woman, I don't think there's too many people you can find more classy than Michelle Obama.
Amen to
First,
that.
she is when it comes to first ladies, she's Angela Bassett. Remember,
Yeah.
Champ, how you talked
I
about how
mean,
classy Angela Bassett is? That's how Michelle
yeah.
Obama is. And when I
Yeah.
look at Michelle Obama, and the thing that resonates with me the most is what she said about ESPN. Normally, when you hear sports takes, you usually hear that from Barack. But
Yes.
for Michelle Obama, of all people, to talk about ESPN in the state in which they are, usually you would hear that type of stuff from a BRF Sports, an Undisputed World Champ, a Flash, a Sports PSP, any other podcaster or content creator. But for Michelle Obama to say this, pretty much so a babyface. And she's smart, knowledgeable, wise, intelligent. I love her podcast. I saw the one which she did with Cat Williams. Um, I just love Michelle Obama, man, and she gives a lot of women and especially Black women hope and just joy. For anyone to say that she is a dude, I don't know what y'all are smoking or whatever, but clearly she is one beautiful and strong woman. So easily she a babyface.
If you say anything otherwise, you on that base, probably on that base.
They own they own something, all right. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, what's there doesn't need to be explained about Michelle Obama. Just what she exemplifies, what she represents, just everything that she stands for. I mean, it doesn't need to be explained. Yeah, Michelle Obama is like Michelle Obama just one of those is just one of those ones, and it's a shame that people still kind of treat her and Barack the way they do, and it's like bro, like they're not in office anymore. They can't do anything as far as like controlling the country and all this stuff. They don't control this stuff. Why are their names still in your mouth, Trump? Like why are their names still in your mouth? Like the first chance he gets, he wants to bring up, well, they did this and they did that, and the country like he really did this. I'm like, bruh, it's been 10 years since he left office. There's nothing that could have resulted in between them 10 years that he could have passed that could like affect what's going on now, contrary to what some people may think. Like he's not in office anymore.
They're
Like,
jealous. BRF,
like
they're jealous, and there are
oh,
people who
most definitely jealous because he wants to be admired in the way Barack Obama is admired. He wants that, and his he. Okay,
oh,
I'll
he
be
does
nice.
because he'll still
Yeah, he
claim he
just
did.
and he's
He
not.
still
He ain't gonna get
he
it.
still claims he did more for black people, and I'm like, what has he really done for black people besides?
What he's done for black people is expose a lot of people that we thought were friends, and as far as like what they believe and how they think. That's what he did for black people. He exposed a lot of people to us as far as like who we don't need to be hanging around. That's what if I give him one good thing he's did, he's helped us cut a lot of toxicity out of our life. That's one thing I will give him.
Such as Emerosa.
Go away. Go away.
Bye,
Uh,
Felicia.
Bush.
hey, hey, this is my plea to the president, man. Bring my guys home, man. Guys don't need to be over there. Just bring my guys home. Bring my battle buddies home. I don't want them. I survived. Me and a lot of guys like me survived war, so next generation shouldn't have to come through that. We shouldn't have had back to back generations going off the war, man. So that was my. If I could say any kind of criticism on that, that would be one of my main ones. You told us no new wars. I wish that you would have kept your word because I didn't want this generation to have to go through what mine went through. That's one of the greatest. That's one of the greatest criticisms I have for this administration at this point. I kind of keep quiet about politics because I hate it, and it is for that very reason because like I said, I don't want this generation to have to go through the horrors that everybody else in my generation had to go through. We had to go through Iraqi freedom. We had to go through Afghanistan. Unfortunately, this generation has to be subject to another war. Kids are getting out of high school, coming into a fucked up economy, and I hate they had to go through that. Hell, we had to go through that. I mean, 2006, I graduated high school. 2 years later, the economy's in fucking shambles. So I hate that these young people had to go through the same things that us millennials went through, coming right out of high school into a war, and then 2 years later, then less than a year later, you're in a fucked up economy. You can't even provide for yourself like you need to. But uh, but when from Chicago was in there, well, shit was booming. What?
Things were going fine with the economy and everything else, man. But like I said, it's hard to trust that dude in office because everyone knows that he is a habitual liar. Nobody cannot trust him. DTA, don't trust anybody. When it comes to Trump, hell no. If he says something, you know you can't trust him. Which is why when Donald Trump says something, you have to take his word with a grain of salt. Sorry, I'm sorry. I understand that they're gonna be Republicans and conservatives that are gonna be mad at me, but hey, that's just the truth.
Never in
That's
my
just the
life have I
truth.
never in my life have I seen a bigger habitual dumbass in my life.
Well, there's JD Vance as well.
You mean couch player?
Why the fuck do they call him couch player?
Because he
Did you
really
tell me
played
this
with a
in the
couch.
show?
Because
Oh yeah,
apparently he really played with a couch.
yeah, he did. He did. No joke, champ.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any, just when you thought it couldn't get any fucking weird. But anyway, you
Let's
go skip.
move on. Let's move on. Okay.
Gives new meaning to that. You remember that show back in the day, the big comfy couch?
You know what? I'm never gonna shut my right up and
All right,
move
let's talk about favorite Taraji P Henson moment. I gotta say, Baby Boy, when she did Baby Boy with Tyrese Gibson. I mean, I actually love that part. I can't talk about the sex scene incident with her and Tyrese.
Bro, what the
I mean,
Hey,
she
hey, hey.
did talk about I love Daddy Dick. So
May God have mercy on your soul.
We'll keep it. We'll keep it 100. Ain't it's not too many guys that wouldn't want to have been Tyrese in that situation. I mean, we gonna keep it a buck because
Nope.
Taraji P Henson is a mighty fine woman,
And still fine
and
to
still
this day.
fine, still fine.
Um, I will say this though, on a serious note with Taraji P Henson. I love the fact that she has been outspoken advocate for mental health. Um, if I am a young actor, if I was a young actor, and if I want someone playing my mom, her, Angela Bassett, Loretta Devine.
Shout
I
out
w-
to Loretta Devine. I like that. That's what's up.
yeah, man, I love me some Loretta Devine, man. Strong Christian woman, tough, loves the Lord, man. But Taraji P Henson, um, Empire. I did like Empire. There was the other incident where she showed off her you know what, but that's a story for another day. But when I look at Taraji P Henson, I can do bad all by myself.
Yes.
I love the role that she played in. Think Like a Man. I did like that part as well. But and also too, people forgotten she used to play Smart Guy on Smart Guy and Sister Sister. So that's pretty cool to me. And then of course, how can we ignore the movie, the one with Terrence Howard and Anthony Anderson?
Hustle and flow.
Huh, you know it's hard out here to be a pimp when they trying to get this
Mm.
money for the rent. But Taraji, man, and fine, still fine, man. I mean, just another example of black excellence in black women. I mean, fellas, we were too blessed in the 90s with the beautiful woman in the 90s. Taraji, Gabrielle Union, Tisha Campbell, Tashina Arnold, Vivica A. Fox, Nia Long, Vanessa Williams. I mean, we were blessed with beautiful women back then. Of
Jada
course,
Pinkett when she had a help. Jada Pinkett when she had a help.
Rosario Dawson. But women, you got to put in Taraji P Henson. But what's y'all favorite
Oh,
moments of Taraji?
for one, shout out to you for the Rosario Dawson mention because oh my gosh, I had like the biggest crush on Rosario Dawson when the movie Josie and the Pussycats came out. I had the biggest crush on Rosario Dawson. So shout out to you for naming her in that. So yes, 100%. Um, yeah, hustle and flow. Like her singing over that song. Shout out to 3 6 Mafia won an Oscar for that song. Shout out to the homies. Um, yeah, her role in Baby Boy was definitely it was powerful because you know just seeing it from her perspective of just and you see it all the time like the women that are in like the toxic relationships and it's like they want to leave but they want to hold on because they see the good in the person and you just hope that ultimately they break through and then you see at the end of the movie where it kind of looked like he was kind of breaking through but her role was just really well done. um yeah, I can do bad all by myself. It's one of my favorite Tyler Perry movies. She was amazing in that. Yes, and I like the range, her range that she showed with Empire, playing
Remember
playing
when
that
she
type.
beat up Hakeem?
Man, just I like, I love the range that she showed that she could be diabolical, that she could be vengeful, that she could be relentless like that. I mean, it was just a different, it was just a different kind of avenue for her to play in Empire. I mean, just her and Terrence Howard. I don't know what it is about them two when they get together. And whether it's a mood, whether it was Hustle and Flow or Empire, I don't know what it is about them two, but they work. Like their chemistry is just there. They just work well with each other. So, but yeah, Yeah, to Taraji, but honestly though, man, Taraji P. Henson should definitely get her flowers. She should not be slept on. She's done a lot for the culture. Amazing actress. And yeah, you spoke about, her speaking out about mental health. She's spoken up about like, women in general, as far as like getting paid, like the money that they're getting. She's taking a stand on that as well. Well, black women in particular. But yeah, just shout out to her, still doing her thing, and just it's yeah, man. I mean, PSP couldn't have said it any better, man. The women, our childhood, and like us growing up, the women that we had like in Hollywood and in movies, man, we honestly lucked out and got like arguably the greatest generation. Like we lucked out, we really lucked out.
Yes, we did. Hey, why did none of y'all bring up Hidden Fences, man? Why
Yeah,
didn't y'all
true.
bring Hidden Figures? Excuse me,
Hidden
Hidden
Figures,
Figures,
yeah.
not Hidden Fences.
Hidden, hidden Figures, yeah.
Hidden Figures was monumental because you got a chance to hear about it for the first time, her perspective from the space race, the U.S. versus Russia, and you got a chance to hear about how instrumental she really was. Let's just be real. We didn't hear about that in the history books. We heard about Neil Armstrong. We heard about a lot of guys like that who were instrumental in their own right, but we really didn't hear about her. And I really feel like that we need to tell more stories about that. Um, I loved her role in the Karate Kid. Uh
Jaden Smith's mom.
playing little
James
Will
was
Smith's
mom.
mom. Yeah, James's mom. Hey, look, family that prays,
Mm-hmm.
family that prays. Hey, and look, I will just tell you, it doesn't get any more wild than the role that she played in Acrimony. It don't get no more wild.
You know, you
So I got to
you
give her credit.
another role that she played. What's that movie? I'm trying to think of it now. Oh shoot! All the um all the assassins, all the hitmen. I can't think of that name of that movie. Crap.
Hold on, let me look it up for
It
you.
was it is her, Alicia Keys, Ryan. I think Ryan Reynolds was in it. Common was in it. What was the name of that movie? Oh,
She used to date Common at one point.
yeah. Oh, What's the name of that
Remember
movie?
what Ben wants? She played in what Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But man, her and Regina
Smoking
Hall.
Smoking Aces. Smoking
Yes.
Aces. Smoking Aces.
yeah.
Yeah, that scene at the end of that movie, because like she really liked Alicia Keys' character, and then she saw her get shot, and then she just that sniper rifle she had, and she just unleashed on everybody. I was just like, bad. That's a bad woman there.
But love me some Taraji P. Henson. Tough. And also she from DC. She from DC. Also, she studied acting at Howard University. But also she was good on Person and Interest. Let's not forget that, champ. Person and Interest. That was the show that she was on CBS.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Person of Interest was a good show. Yeah, it was.
Yes, yes.
yes, it was.
So and then she was also on Four Brothers. Of course, we mentioned The Family That Prays.
Oh,
Let's not
man,
forget Hurricane Season. She was
how
on
did I forget,
Hurricane Season.
how did I forget Four Brothers, man? I love that movie.
Yeah. She was also on Hurricane Season when she played the wife of Forrest Whitaker. And then but Proud Mary. Oh, I didn't mind Proud Mary. That was actually pretty good. And The Color Purple back in 2023. The Netflix
Best of
one,
enemies.
yes. I did like the one on
Best of
Netflix,
enemies.
Coffee and Kareem. So that's the Netflix one, starring Ed Helms, Terrence Little. So take the time to watch that movie, man. But Taraji P. Henson, man, beautiful, gorgeous woman. And then, of course, fellas, last but not least, we're gonna wrap up. Favorite Wiz Khalifa track.
Hmm.
This one for you, Kia. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and
Shout
yellow.
out to the
I
beautiful
love that, man.
shout out to the
Shout
beautiful
out to Kia,
Kia.
man. And yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due. Black and yellow. I know Pittsburgh is her team, so shout out to Kia, one of our good friends in podcasting. Hey, you want to get paid? We're parlay for a reason. So hey, shout out to Kia. Yeah, you know, it's yeah, it was a good remember you.
Mm-hmm.
That one was a good one. We boys. We became the Cowboys. It was Wiz Khalifa is very, very underrated, man. That was he was a right, and he did it differently, man. He didn't have to he didn't have to go the gangster route. He was just himself, and you know, I like Wiz, man. I like his style. You know, very gentleman yet carries himself in a certain way, man. That was a cool guy, man.
Mm-hmm. PRF.
Man, let's see. Well, yeah, I mean, you already mentioned black and yellow, but gosh, what else? On my level, him and too short. Love that song.
Roll
Um,
up
roll up, yeah, love roll up. Yeah, remember me. Um,
when I'm gone.
when I'm gone. When I, of course, see you again. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
that's the yeah, that's the one right there. Gosh, what else?
In the cut. In the cut.
I mean, and we them boys. You can't talk about Wiz Khalifa without talking about we them boys. That's a that's a that's a that was a really really good song. Um, gosh,
You and your friends.
yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, I was thinking about the one he did with Snoop. Ain't I'm thinking, dun, 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 dun.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Wiz Khalifa's like extremely, extremely underrated, and just um like underrated lyricist. Like he's very good lyricist. I don't think he gets enough props for how good he is as a rapper. Period. Um, just yeah. So that's definitely some of my favorite ones. But definitely one of the more underrated lyricists of our generation, and definitely needs more love and more recognition on his name.
roll up when I'm gone. See you again. Takia, black and yellow, black and yellow. In the cut. So I love Wiz Khalifa, and also the reason why I picked him because my mom's side of the family, her sister and her children before they used to live in Pittsburgh. They lived in Washington, PA, which is not too far away from Pittsburgh. And of course, the beautiful Kia. So I want to make sure I give Kia some love regarding Pittsburgh, man. But man, Wiz but only mistake Wiz Khalifa ever made though was Amber Rose, but that's a story for another day.
Ooh,
That's the
we
best
are.
mistake you could ever make. I'm just being real. That's probably one of the mistakes you can ever make.
I mean, at the time, yes, absolutely. Now it's like, Wiz, what were you doing?
I mean, like I said,
That was crazy though. But that concludes the rest of the Sports PSP podcast, man. BRF, I'll let you have final word, man. Tell them where to follow you at and more.
Absolutely. BRS Sports, as always, it's the TikTok link tree is in the bio. TikTok, X/Twitter, Facebook. I have my own Discord. My IG. Definitely get at me. Just click the link tree. like I said, you definitely get at me. I'm always trying to find new people, trying to make friends, always trying to find people to cut up and talk sports with. So yeah, feel free. Most definitely. Just start at the TikTok though, because you will definitely you will get the full you won't get the full you won't get the full scoop about me on the TikTok, but you'll get a good understanding of me if you follow the TikTok. But but it's always a pleasure to get on here talking sports with you two. Always a pleasure to share the spotlight. Always honored to hop in and just do what we do and enjoy ourselves. Um, every day to everybody listening, man, just keep doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow's not promised. Love your family. And just appreciate everyone you have in your life because you never know when that day's coming. Tomorrow's like I said, tomorrow ain't promised. So keep doing your thing. Give everybody the flowers while they're standing on earth and not when they're 6 feet on in the ground. Um as always though, a topic not thought about is a topic not talked about. Y'all stay up, y'all keep doing your thing. Love each and every one of y'all. We appreciate the support. And we're gonna keep this bad boy rolling. And like I said, man, I'm just blessed to have an opportunity like this to get on here with two of my favorite people and just do what I like, do what I enjoy doing most, and that's talking sports and having a good time doing it, man. So shout out to you two brothers, and wishing y'all nothing but success in the world, more success in the world as well, man. We gonna keep this thing rolling, that's for sure.
That's what's up, big fella.
Hey, in the great words of Kendrick Lamar, just promise me you tell this story when you make it big. So, hey, privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be on the Sports PSP podcast, man. Sorry about my technical difficulties. It is storming down here down south, but hey, luckily I got Superman and damn the Green Lantern over here to get my back, so it's all good at this point, man. I'm just happy to be on the show, man. Just happy to be doing our thing, and you know nobody does it better than the great words of the late great Nate Dogg.
Thank you, fellas, for doing everything you can to help us out with the Sports PSP podcast. Already over 142,000 subscribers, so we're going to keep on pushing. Please go check out the latest episode that I just posted on the YouTube channel, Babyface or Heel, regarding Justin Herbert, DeAndre Hopkins, um, and much more. But we're going to put out more. We're going to continue to do what we can. Hopefully, we're gonna have some more WNBA, more NBA, more football discussions, a lot more. Please check us out on the Sports PSP podcast every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Shout out to Mama Champ. Shout out to Ace. Shout out to the rest of the family. Shout out to my beautiful girl Angie. Shout out to Kaylin. Shout out to Mama PSP. And last but not least, the beautiful, wonderful, lovely, kind, sweet D. Love y'all. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Please, people, stay safe during the storm. And if you're going to drink, please drink responsibly. Have a good time. And we is out. Peace.